Are live. Woo! I am back for another Prime Time Live. And as you know, I'm your host, Mingo-Dee.
I'm your boy Snake.
And Hammer may or may not be joining us, so keep your eyes and your ears tuned. So, with that being said, I have a pressing matter to talk to you guys about. But before I do that, I'm gonna, take it back old school to some old Prime Time Live, and I'm gonna give you some guys some, nerdy news, so you guys can, experience the nerdy, entertainment news, or entertainment nerd news. I forget how I used to word it, but so we're gonna jump right in. And first thing I want to talk about the review for Heels. If you guys don't know what Heels are Heels is because R that
Women
referring
always
to
have a hard time walking on them.
We're not talking about those heels.
You said if you know what heels are. I know what heels
I
are.
said R, messed up R, but is as in the show. The show Heels is referring to the show that has Stephen Amell or Stephen Amell. I want to say Stephen Amell, the guy from Arrow and such other things. If you've seen him other things, I don't know what you might have seen him in. Mostly Arrow. He's playing there. He's playing a wrestler named, I think, Jack, and it's about him and his another wrestler buddy, his friend, that's going through the series, and they're they're showing the ups and downs of wrestling, the ins and outs of the industry and whatnot. It looks dope. It looks amazing, and from what the review, or at least this review, talks about, is that it's made for endurance, and actually that's the actual quote on the review. The problem with the show is that it's very slow pace, and which is funny because the guy who made the show or one of the producers or the writers anyway is from the Loki show. So it's very surprising that they're really focusing a lot on dialogue and exposition. I guess trying to get people really wrapped into the idea of how wrestling works and how the characters relate to each other or their problems or whatever. And from the way the reviewer refers to it, is that they're spending so much time on these little tidbits or whatnot to where it makes the show really slow. It gets better, of course, but it just goes. It's made for endurance, and I'm sure over time, just like with any streaming platform show that has 8 to 12 episodes, it will get better over time. Now the show is by no means a bad show. It's a really good show. It takes its time to get to where you need to be. And with people today with their constant small attention spans, squirrel and things like that, and they just wander away, it probably isn't the best for this show of this type, especially in wrestling, and wrestling is still trying to at least from my point of view, trying to make its comeuppance or comeback or whatever, because it seems I don't know, since John Cena left, well, he's still kind of there, and others, it seems like wrestling still is starting back over, trying to find that new golden age of wrestlers, at least for this generation. If Cole Barker was on here, he's been on the show before, he could probably tell you a little bit more about the wrestling scene, but I digress. Let's get back to Heels. But what's good about Heels is that it's on Stars, and and if you have the streaming platform Stars, you can actually watch all 8 episodes, and that's what's probably saving it. Remember that thing where we say what works better, a week by week or a streaming platform? Well, a binge platform. I think this one, binge, works best. Because the more that the show takes its time, the more you're like, think about WandaVision. WandaVision was so slow, it almost lost audiences, but then, it picked back up, people jumped back in. It was great at the end and had its moments where it was really slow parts, really moments where it was confusing, things like that necessary. But if it was a show you could just binge from start to finish, it might have, been extremely well received right off the jump instead of having to be a underdog show that comes from the end. But then you look at shows like Warrior Nun, which I say was really slow, but because it was 8 episodes, I was like, you know what? I just want to find out what's happening next. I just want to find out what's happening next, and I was sucked into it, and I watched it, and then I even went back and watched some previous episodes to see what I missed and whatever, and it worked out well. So there you go. This Heels. It's a great show, but binge it. If you're gonna watch a couple episodes, you might not come back. That's the opinion of the reviewer, and I tend to agree. I tried to watch the first 2 episodes, and I had that same thing. I was kind of like getting, like, okay, when they're gonna get to the good stuff. And it's also trailers do this as well. They give you the trailer and they show all this great stuff, and it's like, oh, then you get to the show and you're like, what's that stuff I saw in the trailer? I want to see it right now. And then they don't necessarily give it to you. So I blame it a little bit on the trailer and that. But if you binge it, apparently from what the reviewer says, you would like it. It comes out, I think, at the end of this week or next week. So when
Everything froze.
Oh, it froze? They didn't hear me? No.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, what I was saying about so Justin Prater, he said what Heels does is give a great understanding of how a smaller professional wrestling company like an outlaw wrestling promotion, or dare I say an old school NWA territory, worked. He said he found it intriguing. So. And you froze again. Sorry, people, if you can hear me. I don't know. Alright, you're back.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, on my end, you froze as well. But yeah, appreciate that, Prater. That was dope. I'm glad you're on here, like I said, Cole Barker, but you seem to know a lot about it, so I'm excited to actually go back and watch it. So I'm actually watch the entire thing and see how it goes. But speaking of Stephen Amell, let's talk about Arrow. Yes, Arrow. It's like, well, Arrow was way back when. Well, yeah, that is true. But I want to talk about how Green Arrow, how Stephen Amell got pulled back into the Arrowverse. And it's like, what, he's back? Not technically. So what we want to talk about here is that they're after 6 seasons, and you guys know this, we talked about this before, how he was quitting and he was done with the show. After about 6 seasons, he was burnt out. The writing changed, the way the team did their thing, everything. The teams did their thing as far as how you putting the production together. There you go. It started to become just the same old story or cookie cutter or just kind of the same stuff over and over and over, and he just got really burnt out. It wasn't, they got passed up on awards. A lot of the storylines started to change, and he was done, as you all know. So then why did he come back for the 7th and 8th seasons? Well, Greg Berlanti, he talked him into it, which was, I'm pretty shocked by that. He was able to talk him into it, and just the show itself, understanding that you have to end it correctly, or so to speak, because you've made this big old this universe that has all these other characters now, and for you to just stop would make sense. This isn't Fresh Prince. Well, Aunt Viv, if anyone watches or heard of Fresh Prince, Aunt Viv just changed colors and was a different height and a different woman altogether, and then no one was the wiser. Or Happy Days, where the brother walks upstairs never to come back, and it's like he went to sleep forever, I guess. No one knows. He never came back downstairs. He went upstairs and never came back for future seasons. So that's not what this was. So he stayed for that, and then he was a different guy. He went to do Heels, but in the middle of the Heels production, he decided, he didn't necessarily decide, but it it was like some confusion things going on with the Hills production. I guess they were deciding if they're going to do a season 2 or if they were going to continue to do seasons or where they was going to shoot. I'm not necessarily sure. That it didn't really specify. But he was sitting here home as we are, during a pandemic or in the height of the pandemic. And apparently at the time he was staying in areas or in the area where they shot, I guess it's Vancouver, where they shot, Arrow and Flash and all the others, and he, I guess, was missing the show or not working at the time. I guess in the production of Heels, he probably wasn't working, wasn't making money. He kind of wondered, maybe this is something of another shot. So he reached out to Greg Berlanti on the season 9 and told him, maybe there's a possibility of him coming back. Now I know we talked about this before, but they brought this back up again because I'm assuming he did a podcast and he talked about this, and apparently this might be a way for him to come back. So who knows? Because apparently season 9 is still on the slate of things that DC TV television programming or whatever they want to call it, CW television programming, is still looking towards. So
I mean, I don't see how anybody can ever think that, oh, well, he's done and over with. Like, there's no way he can come back. Like, the multiverse that they're pulling off on the thing and the whole DC's Legends of Tomorrow, they can go back in time. So there's all kinds of different things they can do with it. And he can come back as the Spectre. Like, I mean, he don't have to be Green Arrow. Like, he was just basically talking about wanting to come back. Like, I mean, he can come back as a Spectre, and then the Spectre can like separate from him at the same time. So
yeah,
I don't know. There's ways to do it. So I wouldn't count him out. Like,
yeah,
I was hoping he wanted to come back.
Yeah, I'm actually. I think with a lot of these characters, we talked about this before, with a lot of actors and actresses, and what's funny about the pandemic is that's funny pandemic. That's, you never thought you would have both of those in the same. Anyway, what's funny about this whole thing is that the pandemic is like showing the bigwigs, the suits, that hey, this is what your talent has been wanting to have for a long time. They've been wanting to have their freedom to, hey, can I do a season or two? You write me in a coma for half of a season. I go do a couple of movies or another show for a little bit. Then I come back. Is that okay? And I guess before the pandemic, it was like, no, we need you here all the time. You have to stay a 6-season contract, 10-movie contract. But I think now that with the pandemic causing everyone to say, well, things have to be delayed, they're starting to see, okay, well, maybe we can start changing some things up and start, maybe we could bring you in, bring you out, and they're allowing a little bit more leeway, which I think is pretty dope. And now continue on with the, DC verse. Henry Cavill has been, everyone's favorite Superman guy, which, well, I'm sorry, let me pause on that, because I know some of you Christopher Reeve people will kill me. Now at this present moment, some of you guys' favorite Superman guy. He's talked to, Kevin Feige, of course, and everybody's wondering, what does that mean? Does that mean he's going to come to Marvel? People have wondered about that for a while now, because I think this was a while when he talked to Kevin a while ago. So people have been speculating for at least the last 2 years. What could Kevin do? I mean, not Kevin. What could Henry be? What can he do? He could be this, he could be that, and people have been speculating all over the place. And then one artist was like, I could just show you, better than I could just talk about it. And he drew up one of the, I think it's a dope concept of Henry Cavill as Cyclops. Now, Cyclops wasn't my first choice if I had to pick for Henry, but when I think about it, it works. It works because he looks good in the costume, at least the art of that. Who knows what, Marvel will actually make of it. But if, he does decide to do it, of course. And but one of the things that I know Snake has talked about before is that other than Hugh Jackman, a lot of the X-Men characters, and even they were in even some like the CW character Flash, they just weren't as bulky and big as some of their comic book or cartoon counterparts. So, like the Flash, both Flashes, in my opinion, are still a little too skinny. They need to bulk up just a little bit. They don't got to be that big, but they at least got to be like, let me see, Robbie ML, which is Stephen ML's cousin. He's a little bit smaller than him. That, at least something like that, or at least old dude from Mortal Kombat before he became Jax, because on Supergirl he was a little smaller. At least like that, or Win that was on Supergirl. They were a little bit, bulkier as far as their arm mass compared to the Flash and and the dude, Ezra Miller, who plays the Flash on the movie. They just look so small. It's just so small. I just don't like it. So, so Henry Cavill as Cyclops.
Flash was just like, that's a bone.
That's a bone. And I mean, he's starting to kind of fill out his suit now. I mean, last season.
Starting to, yeah, but you think
that's probably because he's at home eating for the pandemic.
You think that they were like, hey, like they even joked about it in the in the show, like that he was, like, especially whenever I can't think right now.
Black Flash.
No.
Well,
all of the other Flashes had some kind of muscle on them, but no, I'm talking about the older one.
Jay Garrett.
Jay Garrett, yeah. When he came and he was like just Jack Diesel, like. But that's mostly his suit, like it was just a suit. Like you can't even get a padded suit, like.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's true. So that's.
If you're gonna play any role that plays a superhero or something, you need to go get in the gym before you take that role. Like that, they have the resources and time to get them, and personal trainers to get them in shape and do it. I mean, get with it, Henry Cavill. I mean, he could. I'm pretty sure they can easily link up. They have that kind of, like, I don't know, Hollywood connection thing, I bet everybody knows each other. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, they had a behind the scenes set of Endgame or something like that, and you just saw all the star power in there from Vin Diesel and everybody else, and they were shaking hands and hugging and stuff, like they just been like they kicked it yesterday at the park or something. So I definitely agree. But if he was Cyclops, because the previous Cyclops, to me, was still a little bit smaller than I like. I mean, he was okay, but he's still a little bit smaller. I felt like Cyclops, because Cyclops don't have that much. Other than if you play Marvel vs. Capcom, his eye rays don't really do much. Now, he played that game, he could do a lot with his eye rays, and then on the cartoon with the little thing that he turns, it's supposed to be able to where it can do this or do that or wave and all this just by turning that little dial on his little thingy when he has his visor on. But I don't think, I don't know if the Fox X-Men really played around with that too much. But regardless of that, if Henry Cavill played that, it would just make Cyclops just look big, and he would be boom when he coming in fighting and stuff. It'll make more sense when he fight. Like, okay, well, it's a big dude, and he got some skills, and then he can use little eye rays and just boom, 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 boom. So I wouldn't mind him playing. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think he'll bring some freshness on Cyclops. I don't think that Kevin probably want him as Cyclops, because Kevin is weird. He probably want him as some other character we never heard before. But
I don't think that would be a good fit, personally. Cause
as Cyclops,
like, how are you gonna put Henry Cavill? I mean, I always have a hard time saying his last name. How are you gonna put him as Cyclops? Like, I understand Cyclops is supposed to be the leader of the X-Men, but he was always he was never like a real main character. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wolverine always stole the spot. Like, even in the cartoon, like, Cyclops wasn't really the guy. Like, he He was supposed to be the leader. He's basically Cyclops. If you want to compare it with an anime, I'm gonna bring up My Hero Academia. The leader of the class, Ida, yes, that's
dude.
Cyclops.
Be doing all this.
That is Cyclops 100%.
Yo, that's hilarious.
That's where their level is right there.
That's funny. I can see that.
Best comparison of where Cyclops' level is. It's like
Wow.
Ida's badass. Yeah, he runs fast, but at the same time, he's not the main. He's just the extra. You know, like so I wouldn't see like Henry. I see Henry like especially after some of the shows, the stuff he's done, as a somewhat main character person. You know what I'm saying? Like even all the Marvel movies, like the Justice. I mean. The Avengers movies where they're everybody's together, like everybody is kind of a main person, you know, like that has their role to play, you know, like you just don't see that with, you know, nobody likes Cyclops. I'm sorry, nobody does. Like whoever said how literally like whoever in life have you said, hey, who's your favorite X-Men? Cyclops. Who?
Well, guys, you join us. I meant to say, I'm sorry I didn't say this earlier, but please like, subscribe, comment if you're on YouTube. And if you're watching us live, shout out to the two, our mod, say mods, our mod, Snake here referenced, I know Justin was one of them, and say Joe. Was Joe? But then you said somebody else.
He gave us a like.
Okay.
Saying, thanks, Joe.
Cool. Appreciate that like. So, and since you're doing that, why don't you let us know who your favorite X-Men is? Is it Cyclops? Maybe it isn't.
Hey, maybe Henry will actually make Cyclops relevant. You know, you never know.
Maybe. I mean, with his star power and talent, I could see him. If he does whatever lines he's given, I could see him possibly accidentally stealing the show. But, you know, if they want him to be classic Cyclops, they might have to tell him, okay, tone that down a little bit. You're too Wolverine-ish. We need you to be Cyclops, so bring it down just a level. And he'll be like, I'm sorry, my bad. You know, so, because, you know, Wolverine's up here with everything he does, and Henry Cavill, his star power is up here, so he have to bring his star power down. Maybe have 1 or 2 lines. I don't know. I mean, but again, this is speculation. The dude just drew him. I like the art of it. You know, I would hope that maybe he does more, not just in Cyclops, but like maybe draw him as another X-Men. Draw him as I don't know. Draw him as a bad guy as what's that dude's name with the white? What is his name? Mr. X, Mr. I forgot his name. Wherever. Draw him as him. Dang it, can't get it. Sinister. Something. Yeah, draw him as that because I think he'll look dope in that. And then draw him as something else. I don't know. Just keep drawing him. And I would like to see the different things because, you know, everybody has an idea because of, you know, his physique and all that. And then since he played The Witcher, everybody's like, okay, well, what else could he play or who else could he do? And, you know, he was in Mission Impossible, so we saw him with the beard. So maybe he could play Gambit or something, or I don't know. But Gambit's too big to play Gambit, but maybe not. I don't know. Well, but draw him as that. If you're watching, or if someone shows you this video, draw him, and you know we want to see him and other stuff. So what do you want to see Henry as? Oh, Cyclops? Not Cyclops? Maybe not. And since we're on, you know, Marvel now, let's jump into some Shang-Chi. So, Shang-Chi, Kevin came out and he talked about how they're going to handle, got the Shang-Chi's dad in the movie Men something, I forgot his name. But in China, people were really skeptical about this movie, more so because of I'm not sure about the original Shang-Chi comic or or the artwork or whatever, or because I'm not sure if it belonged to Marvel first, and then or not the Shang-Chi comics, but the Shang-Chi character or some of the characters, I'm not sure if they belong to Marvel at the beginning. Point being is that China was worried because one of the characters in some of the older, or what the Shang-Chi mythos, if I'm saying this correct, is based off of a guy who's supposed to be a racist, bad character guy. Whatever. I think whoever drew him or wrote the character made him. If I'm correct, it made him a Chinese racist, which makes them look bad, of course. Because it's like that's not how their culture is portrayed, and that character, he's the worst of the worst of betraying of any humankind, especially from that culture. So they were worried, I believe. And so Kevin came out and pretty much told him that character that's based off, I think, the original. Like I said, I don't know. I'm sure Snake later will go find out. He has all these encyclopedias and stuff. He'll probably find out way what they're referencing or whatever. But anyway,
I'm lost on what are you talking about.
Well, Kevin came out. Kevin Feige came out.
Who are you talking about?
The dad character. Yes.
The dad,
in the original.
The dad that they're freaking making into freaking Mandarin.
Yes, but based off of the original Shang-Chi, or supposed original Shang-Chi, at least in that article.
That's why they changed him for the movie, because
I'm
of his
assuming
dad in the comic.
I'm assuming
from back in the day.
I'm assuming that's why. But
I can see that.
Kevin, yeah. But Kevin said and Kevin said he wanted to tell a story about a father and son, and then he wanted to explain the power of the 10 rings in a different, because he wanted to bring the Mandarin in, but he didn't want to bring the Mandarin in as just
ain't even
Iron
rings
Man's
anymore.
villain.
Freaking bracelets. I'm sorry.
They're still ring-ish shape. Like the rings in the Olympics.
No.
Rings, see, they're just like that.
No.
Olympic rings,
No.
get it?
Nah.
Olympic
No, I don't
rings.
get it at all. I don't get it at all.
That's just like that. That's what it is.
It's not what it's supposed
Sonic
to be.
rings and Sonic the rings. See, that's what they're basing off
Nope.
of.
These are
Stuff like that. He's just wearing the rings.
Bracelets.
But
Ridiculous.
I still don't know why they decided to. I mean, only thing is, based off that article, I have an idea why they decided to put the Mandarin story with Shang-Chi. But anyway, Kevin came in and he just wanted to let them know, from China and everyone else, that character that they're referring to, Marvel doesn't own that character, apparently. Marvel owns Shang-Chi and some of the other people that's going to be in the movies, in the mythos, but they don't own everything to that original comic or character. I think they bought, just like anything else, you were able to buy, I'm going to buy this bad guy from this comic, and I'm going to buy this good guy from this comic. I'm going to buy this name Oscorp from this comic, and I'm going to buy this and that, but they couldn't, with all the deals that went back then. So, but Kevin was saying that Marvel Cinematic Universe, or just Marvel in general, would have never bought something like that. They would never try to own a character in that sense and use it outside of the pages that it was meant for, or back then or whatever. He said that's not their what they're trying to do at all. They're not trying to spark anything racist or anything like that at all. They said that's not. And he said the story they're trying to tell a story between a father and son. So that's why they changed him up to be. He said the way he is as the leader of the 10 rings is way different than anybody might from the Mandarin and from that character. As opposed, it said you're going to find out that he possibly, said without giving spoilers away, is possibly maybe a villain, anti-hero, who knows. And then he said, and then the reason why Shang-Chi, if he has to kill his father, it won't be on the it won't be for the same reasons it was back then on those original pages or whatnot. It's going to be different. And then he said even the power, as we've seen with the lightning, and as Snake has referred to with the bracelets or whatnot.
Bracelets.
The power is going to be similar but different, and that's all Kevin is saying. So he's saying that you're gonna like it. Don't worry, it's not gonna be bad. He said you're gonna like it. He said it's not gonna be bad. He said you know. So pretty much he's pretty much giving hope to the Chinese people and letting them know, hey, listen, you don't gotta worry about that. I'm gonna do this justice to where, you know, your culture is gonna be okay, and we're not gonna make it seem like you guys are bad or racist because you're not. Boom. And then for people who are Mandarin fans, don't worry, Mandarin's gonna be fine. It's gonna work out to where he is the Mandarin. You get to see the powers, but it's just a little different.
It's
but
gonna be bracelets, and it's not gonna be like how are you messing up? Like, you had the perfect fake one in Iron Man 3. Like, he fit the bill perfectly. He had the rings and everything. He was fake. But no. Now you gotta change.
Now, I'm not really sure why they decided to do rings as in like the Olympic type rings that you put on. I don't know why. Maybe they thought aesthetically it'll look better or it'll look pleasing to what they were trying to do. I don't know. I think maybe they thought the rings wouldn't work out on screen. Sometimes they do it. Sometimes they look at them like, there's no way that's going to work on screen. Let's not use, you know, rings you wear on your hand. Like, you know, it's not going to work. I don't know. Or maybe they couldn't do too much with the rings on your hand. Maybe it just didn't work out.
Bracelets to you? No, he got rings on his finger. You see them rings on his finger? You see that? You see them clear as day.
Everything else about him looks the same. Like he has
he's gonna
have a mustache, he's gonna have like the outfits like that, and then he's just gonna have rings on his arms.
He ain't got no freaking bracelets.
That's the only change. If all the powers are the same, let's say all the powers are the same, but they're just in giant ring bracelet form, will you be okay? He doesn't know. I don't think he knows. He's not sure.
Nah.
This
ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work, bruh.
All right, so going along with Shang-Chi, let's skip along, and we're gonna talk about how the main character of Shang-Chi, I forgot the boy's name, the real life boy. He was on, I think, Twitter or was it Instagram? Might have been Twitter, and he responded to to the CEO of Disney talking about how what they're doing with the movies is an experiment. Now, I'm gonna paraphrase here. What he said was, he says that we're not an experiment. He's gonna show me more Mandarin stuff, isn't he?
See that?
He's showing
look at that, Shang-Chi. Look at that. You see anything about Mandarin being his father? Nope. Sure don't.
Well, they added him in there to make the Mandarin story better, because the Mandarin story is probably not, since it's so tied to Iron Man and Iron Man's technically dead, they had to figure out a way to put the Mandarin in there and make it make sense. So I think it's not bad. I know he's fought the Mandarin before in the comics. I know he has. So they just took him fighting the Mandarin and made it, he's fighting the Mandarin instead of him being a bad guy, but because he's his father. So it's not too far of a stretch. It can work. It can work. You know, Shang-Chi is fighting the Mandarin, not because he's, you know, powerful and he's trying to stop the Mandarin and he's a part of the Avengers, or later on, that's spoiler if you haven't read the comics and stuff like that. But also because Mandarin's his dad, and plus Iron Man's dead, so somebody has to do it. So might as well be him. You know, makes sense.
He was
born
in China and the son of a criminal mastermind, Fu Manchu.
And that's the guy that that's the guy they don't want to. They're not taking everything from him. They're taking stuff about him away and putting more of the Mandarin in his place because they want because they had the Mandarin anyway. It's kind of like, what do we do with this guy, the Mandarin, and where do we put him? Because Tony Stark is dead. Well, let's do a Shang-Chi movie. Well, we don't want to do that other guy because Fu Manchu is kind of bad, a little too bad for today's time, you know. Me Too and all that stuff going on. And they're like, well, let's rewrite his character and just put the Mandarin right there. Good idea. You get raised. Boom. And then you got this movie. I'm paraphrasing. I'm sure that's not how it went in the back office. It's probably way more complicated than that, maybe. But there you go. So boom, and you gotta give it time. But speaking on that, they're gonna have the CEO was saying is the the CEO was talking about it's going to be an experiment, and the main character, the guy who plays him anyway, was saying that we're not an experiment. We're ahead of culture. We're great. We're amazing, and and I can't wait to change something in history. I don't know what he said. To make history. That's whatever. But he said that because moving forward, I know it seemed like, whoa, that's bad. Why didn't he say that? No, it wasn't bad. He was being funny. He was being funny. He was being ambitious. It's kind of like clickbait, kind of sort of. He was responding because the CEO was saying that, you know, if you haven't noticed, there's been a lawsuit going on with Disney and this war between streaming and the movie theaters. More on that later. But Disney has decided with this movie and Free Guy, which is out, you should go see it.
It was awesome.
They have a 45-day release schedule. That's one of the new things that Disney is doing and in the 45 days, the movie stays out for 45 days to make the money it can make within that time frame. And then it comes to the platform, and then from the platform, it should make money. These two are the first two that is starting that trend. Now, was it always going to be this way, or did this happen because of Scarlett Johansson? Don't know. I'm sure more details will come out with that later. But the guy was saying, but the CEO was saying, you know, this is new territory. It's an experiment, and he's kind of wondering how this is gonna, you know, work, and hope, and he's just willing to see. He's just hoping to see if Shang-Chi is going to change and make everything and you know, blow it out the water. And that's why the main character was like, we're not an experiment, we're going to do it. So now in context of it, you can see that he's not being mean, like responding to a mean comment from the CEO. He's just telling everybody, nope, don't worry about it. We ain't no experiment. We got this. We're going to, in the 45 days we're out, we're going to set records, which shouldn't be too hard with the pandemic going on. You can't break a record now, you know what I'm saying? Because recently all the other movies haven't been doing well. I mean, look at the Suicide Squad. It's breaking records. Even though people say they're not making the money that they would have made before pandemic, of course not. But they're still breaking records. They're still making a lot more money than most movies did. Look at Tenet. That didn't make any money, really. Tenet bombed. But not to Tenet's defense, to the defense of the moviegoers and everything else. Tenet really wasn't. It was an okay movie, but it was very convoluted, to be fair, and you really couldn't hear it. The sound score was really loud over a lot of the dialogue, and I watched it at home, and I couldn't turn the volume up anymore. It wasn't anything you really could do. I mean, and wasn't any subtitles, so wasn't not like you had to like rewind it back and like what they say. So I think Shang-Chi is going to change it because number one, it's a different thing. It reminds you of Black Panther. Black Panther came out. It was like the biggest thing. People wanted it. It's going to be that type of movie, I think. And then on top of that, everybody wants to know what's going on with the Mandarin. And then, you know, it has Kung Fu. When was the last time we had a real good Kung Fu flick? Kung Fu flick. That was like, you know, with all the action, people being pulled up on wires and fighting and stuff like that. John Wick, which technically wasn't a true Kung Fu, it was more like, you know, Krav Maga with some jiu-jitsu and a lot of like shooting and you know, I'm gonna throw you into a car and burn you up or something. It was, which is great, but that still was way back. I mean, we had some little small ones in between. We had the one that old girl from the Old Guard, she played in that. She played one, she did one, and then apparently Samuel L. Jackson's getting ready to do one with old girl from Nikita, the Asian chick, black hair. So I mean, but we haven't had a Crouching Tiger, an old school Kung Fu flick in a while. So this will be dope. Have that in the Marvel universe with powers and all this stuff like that. So I think it's going to do well. So I'm really excited. Now, let's move on. About that 45 theater release. Let's talk more Disney. Now, as you know, we talked about it before, we've been talking about it, but Disney it's this thing just keeps coming up. Disney has apparently they've been making changes and been trying, as you see with the 45 theater release date, trying to work with their talent and trying to change things up. And most notably, I think this not necessarily has to do with the lawsuit of Scarlett Johansson, but probably has to do with this girl here, Emma Stone, who played Cruella. You know, Cruella, you probably know her from the other Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, and some of the other movies that she played. But she plays some good. She plays some good roles. She's a good actress, whatever they say nowadays. But
actress.
she decided. Yeah, but some people are. It's why is the actress? You just be actor because you got dancer. I heard someone say this before. Dancer. They don't say danstress, and I'm like, you idiot. But whatever. I don't know. I've heard people trying to do that. Even some of the celebrities are trying to do that because it makes them seem more superior, which is stupid because it's like it's not what the word is. Whatever. I don't want to talk about it. But it's weird. But anyway, Snake is like, that's stupid.
It is, because like, what are you gonna call the dude? Like, an act him? I mean, I could keep naming out. No,
that's okay. That's okay. That was
Actman.
No, just stop.
I mean,
just stop. Nothing else. We don't need any more. We don't need any more.
Actress just seems, right.
And it's been used for so long, so
because
no reason to.
But the thing is, like, even women, like, just because they say actress or you refer to them as actress, actor, or whatever, like, they're still actors. Like, they are still actors. Like, but just referring to them as actress, like, it kind of just, when you're talking to somebody, you say, there's an actress named such and such. Like, in your head, you're like, oh, it's a female, Yeah. But it's a distinguishing.
Yeah.
But I know how this day and age people like have some kind of awful hate of distinguishing things. Like, it's just against everything to them. Cancel
culture. Finance people. That's technically what that type of thing would be, right? That's what they want to do that. But so Emma Stone, this lady, she's smart, or maybe her publicist, manager. I'm gonna go with manager. I don't think the publicist would do this. Manager, more or less. The manager is smart if it's the manager or her. So remember when she was talking about maybe she should probably sue Disney over the Cruella? She didn't do that. She's actually come back for Cruella too, but with a new deal. What she did, which I think was really smart, she saw all the stuff and all the complaints and things that were going on with Scarlett Johansson's deal and what Disney didn't do, and then what they did to pay her, and then she paid attention to HBO Max's deal, and she was like, So what she decided to do is when she went in to negotiate for Cruella 2, she said, I'll do it, but you got to give me this, and this, and these three, and these disses. What they are is that she gets a flat rate box office, something like that, flat rate box office deal, where no matter how much the movie makes, whether it makes a lot or it makes less, she gets a certain amount that she's going to get, like instead of what Disney was doing at first, which was they will add whatever you made in the box office and then just add it to the streaming revenue. And then in the streaming revenue, whatever the streaming revenue gets, she gets like a cut of that as well, which was smart. So she did, and I'm paraphrasing, there's more to the story, and you can look it up yourself and actually see what entails the entirety of the deal. But that's what she did. She decided to take advantage, and I'm sure Disney caved, probably because they were like, well, if we don't give this to her, she just may sue for Cruella 1. We don't need 2 lawsuits on her hand. And she probably was bluffing. Who knows? Maybe she would have sued. Maybe she wasn't going to sue at all, and maybe she just said that on social media to bluff to get this deal. Either way, it was a smart play.
No, I just think that she's understanding the situation. Like, and she, like I said before, Scarlett, she wants to like sue because she didn't get enough money and everything, but she didn't redo her contract. Like they didn't. I mean, it was in contract, but they didn't redo the contract. You know, they didn't. Once everything started happening, they needed to go back or even whoever she has that she's hired to handle instead of herself. If she has nothing to do with it and it's just being handled, then that's kind of on her at the same time, because like you're letting somebody else handle your business, your finances. So, but at the same time, I just think it's smart. I do agree that it's smart on her part, and she is just assessing the situation. She knows, because also you're suing Disney. That has blowback. That is going to be a big blowback. So, so I just think it's smart, or it's logical, I guess you would say. Like she's doing the right thing, and and also she says here that she's getting. It also includes royalties on each at-home sale on streaming. So
there you go.
Yeah, so she's playing it right, which other people should take heed from this and not jumping to like, oh, I'm gonna sue you for everything you got type stuff,
Yeah. And like you said, it goes back to whoever her manager, lawyers, and other people are, and then the fact that what I really think though, other than I think that Johansson, and this isn't to like, I'm sorry, people, please don't take it the wrong way. I'm not bashing her, but it's more so I think Johansson is a little spoiled. I mean, she's been an actress for a very long time. She's won a lot of awards. She's been in some of the most top A-rated movies, and she was an A-lister for a long time. I think she just got to the point to where it was like she probably felt, and this is a maybe, this is my opinion, that she probably felt like, well, I shouldn't necessarily have to, or y'all know what I want, y'all know what to do, opposed to just coming in there and handling it herself. And that could happen. It could be a lot of A-list actors that think that way, but it's like sometimes you can't get so big-headed. I'm not saying she's big-headed. It could have been something totally else, but what if it was? If it was because Emma Stone figured it out, shut up. Emma Stone figured it out, and Emma Stone, I wouldn't classify her as a total A-list. I think she has A-list movies, but I still think that she's in the in-between spot of B, possibly A at times, whatever. But so that's just me. So
basically, her process was fool me once, like type of situation. Like it happened to her the first time with the Koala. So she just took steps to make sure that it was not going to happen on the second time, and just keep moving. Like you're gonna have, especially Johansson, like she's gonna have multiple different movies. Why hinder yourself now on this one? Which when you're gonna battle this one out over something that's like you should just learn from it and keep moving.
Yeah, because in my opinion, there ain't too many people that can beat. I mean, I'm not saying that can beat Disney or beat a conglomerate. Yeah, conglomerate that's that big and still come out on top as well. Because she may win, but it may hinder, like you said, her
who's gonna want to work
career
with her?
for a little while.
Yeah, like who's gonna want to work with her if they're gonna be like scared.
Now, let it be Mark Hamill. Or let it be Samuel Jackson, that's totally different. I think people like, I know that's biased, but sorry, but I think people like that are at the status we talked about before, was like FU money, where they just like, they can't be canceled. Some of them, now I'm naming names, like you Beyonce? Might think that Mark Hamill might not be, singing, yes, but not in acting. I don't think she can go into acting.
Right now, I'm not even listing like acting, singing, any.
Oh, you're just talking to people in general. Yeah.
She's got that.
Like
if put her in the situation, like that.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, because she could have said, well, I hated the way that y'all messed up my voice on Lion King and then sued, and then she probably can win
I
that.
don't
So
even
I
want to
mean,
get
yeah,
started on Lion King. Okay.
I know. That's the only thing I know she did with Disney at the moment that came in my head. So that's the only thing.
I want to take that movie. I want to take the movie, and I want to get rid of all the audio, all of it. Throw it in the trash, and get the original audio from the movie and play it over it. And but I want I want somebody to do that. If somebody hasn't done that yet, I want somebody to do that because I want them to use the CGI. I want the CGI that they use because the movie looked amazing. But I want the original audio. I want the original Timon and Pumbaa. I want all of it. We didn't get the hula dance, man.
Yeah, we didn't know that. Yeah.
But anyway, I want everything.
I get you. But yeah, I get you. So I'm glad you said that. So with that said, that leads me to conundrum. I have a conundrum. And I thought about this. I thought about this before I was even putting together my show. I thought about this earlier this morning. So as you guys know, I work sometimes, and I deliver packages sometimes. A lot of times, all the time. I just try to make it seem like sometimes
I gotta work, but sometimes.
And sometimes I just just to get there and the packages deliver themselves and stuff.
It's not a big deal. Just sometimes.
Yeah, it's just sometimes. So I'm in my truck and I've been hearing this happen a lot because the loaders out there, and I've heard this a couple of weeks. The loaders were talking about different things, different movies and anime and stuff like that. A new driver from another company would talk to them like that, and someone else. But what I didn't expect, and I know it's probably cliche, it's that whole thing of if you watch Liar Liar and you see the black guys and they cussing and they say mother effing you get some whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know the lines. That's why I'm saying it that way because I don't remember the lines from Liar Liar. But the boys, they were super smart. They knew rocket science and things like that, and they were just cussing and doing whatever they wanted to. And it was supposed to be a play on that you see someone of a certain culture, whether they black, white, or whatever the case may be.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna stop you right here real quick, and I want you to tell me that again. So you're talking about Liar Liar, right?
So it's not Liar Liar. It's me. No. It's not Liar Liar. I just thought about it. It's not Liar Liar. It's me, myself, and Irene.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
My bad. I'm sitting for dang
I got you, bro. I got you. Yeah.
My bad.
I'm like,
my bad.
They weren't in Liar Liar at all. What are you talking about?
It's me, myself, and Irene. I'm tripping.
$1 million. Look at that. Random, insignificant, knowledge that nobody should know that I got that.
I would be the guy that would have to, do you want to go for the $1 million? No, I'm just gonna take the money because I would have lost that question. That would have been it, and that would have been $0. So yeah. Kind of glad.
Now that we know which show we're talking about.
Yeah. So they're talking about and with different cultures, you wouldn't expect certain things to kind of come out. So the dude is the dude at my job. He's sitting there, and I've heard him talk with one of the managers named Alfonso, whatever. Shout out to him. He plays video games, and they're talking about the normal things that boys talk about. The girls and us and all that. And the guy comes over there and was like, "Yo, forgot the name of the anime." He said, "I watched this anime all that," and he was like, "Oh yeah." I'll bet, bro. The dude, you know what I'm saying, stabbed him. I would have got my gun, just shot the dude, whatever. But the manga out tomorrow. The manga the manga been out for a minute. You should check out the manga. I read the last 4 chapters, and I'm like, I look out the side of my truck. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Because you wouldn't expect it. And like I said, I know it's cliche. I know it's what, but that's not the only time. I've heard this one girl who's a driver. And blonde chick, she normally talks about the different music she likes, or she just and like some country stuff, and then she comes in there and she knew everything about anime, and then start talking about like some other like nerdy stuff, and I was like,
I'm missing. I feel like I'm just missing out on all the good talk because like you didn't remember nothing that they said. Like,
because I wasn't trying. I was trying to go through my truck, and I was like, "Are they talking about?"
I want to focus. What they talk about?
What they talking about? I need to focus. Well, I know at one point I did hear them talk about Record of Ragnarok. I know they did talk. They talked about that a lot. They went into that, and then they talked about different things that related to it. Like different, they talked about some anime that related to it, and I know it was one of the ones you said. I just don't remember the exact name of it because it was one of them hard ones.
If I was still working there and I heard that, you know damn well I would have been out there talking over.
Yeah, what? I had to try my hardest not to go out there. But the point being is that it made me think of this question because it's not only that. Like I said, with me, myself, and Irene, and then you see, and then it makes you wonder like what's considered nerdy nowadays. It's like, you know, like years ago you would probably see those types of people. You see the guy, you think, oh, he's a jock. See the girl, you think, oh, she's ditzy or she's not super smart or whatever. And you see the other guy, and you're like, oh, he's a clear nerd. And then it's like, but now it's like, is it a hodgepodge now? It's like, what's really going on? What's considered nerdy? And we can go on. You can kind of say, okay, well, what in anime what is actual real anime or nerdy or the nerdiest anime? Because some people will say anything that, and I made this joke with my son. I said you have people who, or no, not my son, my sister. I said you have people who are like what I say Snake is, and my sister, which is they're all about they know anime, they know the manga, they know everything else. Then you have people who are like me, which are like the I would call myself a commoner, which I know anime, but I stick to what they call shonen, which is like certain action, and then I don't really jump out of too many circles. I don't really know a lot of it. I learn from everybody else, and that's it. Then you have people who I call the Dragon Ballers, who are just like, bro, you watch anime? Oh yeah, Dragon Ball. It's like
other than mainstream.
No, it's just so. But the thing is, now I don't know. Is it because of Dragon Ball that everything is kind of jumping in? Is it because of Marvel that everything is kind of jumping in? Is it because of a football player married a scientist or something? I mean, I don't know. But and I can go on and on. We can kind of make these concepts, but this is Prime Time Live, and we want to keep it very, very structured in what Prime Time Live is all about. So my question is simply, what is considered nerdy entertainment, at least in the media form? Because I was going to talk about the Sony, okay, everybody knows Sony, PlayStation, everything else, but they're putting out on Amazon Prime Cinderella. But I was like, is Cinderella really nerdy? I don't know. But, or is it? Is it nerdy? Is it not? Is Law and Order nerdy? So that, or is it?
No.
Or is it?
No.
You can see, well, Snake doesn't think Law and Order's nerdy at all. Apparently, it's not. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
it's
I
like,
got a good handle on it. I'm just saying. I
mean, because like you can look at case in point, the people that's on this show. You got Snake, right? Snake couldn't care less about sports, but he's good at it. But he's good at it. He's a nerd that if you put a ball in his hand, he knows what to do with it. He knows all the rules and everything. He'll pop and he'll pretty much win. And you're like, you're a nerd. What you talking about? And then he just did everything. He knows the rules and he'll win because he's competitive. Fair and enough. Then you got someone who was possibly a jock at one time. He can't defend himself because he's not here.
Possibly, like Hammer, he's watching.
He's watching.
I see.
Hammer was a jock.
Why he didn't jump in? He should have just jumped in.
Yeah, because he can't defend himself. Because I know you're gonna pretty much get him. Hammer was a jock and he played football, and now he's very into nerd stuff and game stuff. So what happened? Like, where did both?
Like nothing really happened. It's just like so. Basically, I know a lot of people even myself included, like we like categorize a lot of like nerdy stuff is this, or geek stuff is this, and all that's jocks and that. Technically, if you want to get technical about it, like if you nerdy stuff that you talk about, like what's nerdy, like you say, anything, literally anything that you are passionate about and can go for days on end talking about it, like you just go in on it, you technically nerd out on it. Like that's because that's the technically one thing about it. And that's like it could be mowing the yard. Like you can nerd out on mowing the yard, like going in on everything about it, like and like down to the lawnmower, the specific lawnmower to get to make the stripes, to down to like what kills your grass and how to get it back, like detailing all of it out and just rambling it out. You're nerding out on it. Like if you're a sports person, like, and you just go in, you know the details about all the characters and what they ate for breakfast and when they take their shits, all that. I mean, you're nerding out on it. I mean, I don't know that section of it because I don't nerd out that way, but everybody nerds out in their own way, and that's why everybody's a nerd. Like, everybody has a nerd in them. Like, it's just depending on what you nerd out on. Like, for you probably nerd out dancing. Like, you probably wouldn't think you nerd out while you're talking about dancing, but technically you do. Like,
yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. That's better. That's, what am I saying? I tend to agree with you because it makes sense, because when you're nerding out on content or whatever the content may be, like you said, it could be sports, it could be dancing, whatever, you're going to the finite details. It's like, the ball is made of the this, of the that, and this, and that's why it fits in your hand this way, and that's why you get the right projectile moment of the thing of the this, and that's why I win project this, and they will know that, and it's like, okay, the way you kick the ball at a certain angle and everything, even people who shoot, they will tell you. You get your gun this way, you point at a certain this like that, you get it, the bullet drops, and you've heard Hammer do it on the show. He's did that a couple times with Battlefield in the shooting. Like, it's like he's actually holding the gun. I'm sitting here like, you shouldn't know that much about how the guns work that well in that video game. That's very good nerding, sir. Dang, like you didn't study those guns. But I guess because they're based off real guns and he likes guns, so there you go. So and which makes me think, then maybe he's gonna say no. I'm still gonna say it anyway. Then maybe these other content things are nerd stuff at times. Now I'm not gonna say for this particular show and get nerdy with me that it is for our audience, because we have our audience is very niche specific. You guys like a lot of sci-fi, which technically sci-fi is nerdy. You like a lot of fantasy. You like drama, but it depends on how the drama works. The drama has to be something that is something that reminds you of the sci-fi and the fantasy, like or superheroes, or it has to have like magic. It has to remind you of those things, whatever. It can't be like a soap opera per se, because that you guys wouldn't fall in that category as far as niche specific nerdness.
That's where it gets into the categorizing stuff. Like you said, like I said earlier, like everybody, we categorize like what is nerdy, what is geeky, what is sports and stuff like that. Which everything has its, like, everybody geeks out and nerds out, like whatever you want to call it. Like most of it's still, that's your passion, you know, like, but you have to categorize stuff in order to, like, for what people, like, you're not going to come to this channel expecting like all your sports details. Like, that's what ESPN's for, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything has categorized, so you have to just have to kind of see something and like kind of like, oh well, that's interesting. Probably want to talk. If people will comment, we'd be able to know, you know, what you want to talk about. But that's your chance to go down in the comments right now and actually comment what you want to talk about. Right now. And then there's a button down there. It has a little thumb. You push the button and like Yeah.
Yeah, and also with this question, it also gives you a reason to say, hey, since you asked that question, just maybe we would like to talk about this nerdy thing. And then, as Snake said, based off of our niche, the niche that you basically what you guys like. I'm assuming I'm not going to get anyone in the comments going to say, well, hey, can we talk about
fishing?
This this shit. No, can we talk about? I'm trying to think of a show that Judge Judy, and then it's like,
nope,
no. I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty sure we're not going to get that in the comments or whatever. But some of you guys, because Mike put some Disney stuff in there, like you might actually want us to talk about Cinderella. I mean, we talk about Cruella, but we talk about Emma Stone because she was part of Spider-Man and other things like that.
Now that you said that, some jackass is actually gonna go in there like, can we talk about Judge Judy? Ha 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 ha. Jackass.
No. like then I'm gonna be like, yeah, because Judge Judy is the sister of Judge Dredd, so we're gonna talk about Judge Dredd. Boom. We're talking about Judge Dredd. Yeah, I did that mic drop. Boom. I don't have a mic. Whatever, I don't know. Maybe that didn't work, but But yeah, so you guys can put that in the comments and tell us what you want to watch. She is
old. Grandma or something.
Grandma, Judge Dredd. Go over there and kill some people. Yes, ma'am. So yeah, but yeah, that's my show, guys. And like you said before, put the stuff in the comments. What do you want to know? Do y'all want to have more questions like that about the nerdom, especially in entertainment? Like, who do you think's the biggest nerd? I'm probably gonna go with Henry Cavill. When he made just really, he looked like such a geek. The biggest, strongest geek you've ever seen. It was like watching Goku in real life to me. So that's my opinion. So who do y'all think? Y'all think, maybe celebrities are geeks and nerds? Like, who do y'all want to know that? Y'all want more questions? What do y'all want? Tell us. But catch us next week on Prime Time. Maybe I'll talk about more stuff. I don't know.
Since you asked that question, I kind of, I'd like to have some, people actually come on the show and we can ask them, what do you nerd out on? Like, what's your nerd? What gets your nerd tingling? I think that'd be. I thought you wanted to say you don't have.
I
could have kept going, but anyway, I'm saying get people in and what do you want to nerd out about? Get people to talk about their nerd. I don't care who you are. Bring your butt on this show so we can talk and have more conversations. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it, people. Well, guys, catch us Wednesday on the Hammer Show, wherever he is out there. I see you. You should have been here. I see you. No. I see you. We see you. Be here next time. Up for doing stuff. Not here. No, but on the Get Down, and then catch us Friday for Nerdmation. Forgive me, guys. I was not there, but you know what I'm saying. I was fighting ninjas. I was not fighting ninjas. That would have been dope if I was fighting ninjas. That would have been a very, very good story to tell too. But I wasn't fighting ninjas. I probably would have died because I don't have a sword. But with that said, guys, I'm Mingo-Dee. That is Snake, and y'all know that Hammer dude who ain't here. So we'll catch you. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad. We'll catch you guys next time.